Hey, welcome back to BackBit Impawsible. It's Luke Darksnout again, and last time we were busy trying to fix all the frames that the Super CPU screwed up. But even though I do have a way around, the Super CPU problem altogether, I'm still curious to find out what the hell is it doing? So in this episode, I dig in. I load up some of these corrupted frames and I take a closer look. And then I run something that, kind of puts me in my place. I'm out of my league here, and by the end of this episode, I do learn let sleeping wolves lie. And unfortunately, I do have to live with this problem. But thankfully, because of the SD to IC, I can dodge it when necessary. You'll see. It's kind of enlightening and discouraging at the same time. Anyway, let's get to the clips.
Well, I got brave and I put a post on the BackBit forum asking about this problem. I wonder what Evie knows about it. So far, there's been no reply, but it's near Christmas, right? But what I plan to do here, something I probably should have done before I asked her about it, did some investigations on my own. I mean, on my Wolves in the BackBit series, I started to look into this, and of course, like anything, you get distracted and you give up. But this is my character set renditions done in high speed, but now I'm looking at them in disabled Super CPU mode. So these interferences are true, like the file has been affected. So what you see here, is this color RAM? Is this video matrix? Or is it the character data? It's something, and here it is. Now I have access to this data a little more easier than when I was doing the Wolves on the BackBit. I can go in and grab this stuff. Now, of course, if it's color RAM information, well, the high nibbles are all screwed up anyway. But what I'm looking for is a really good frame, and this, despite how trashed it is, isn't really good. I want something that has a big chunk of something either garbled or missing that I can go digging in. Yeah, this will be our guinea pig frame. Yeah, Gab was really excited about it. 2885. So the video matrix is at 7400, the character set at 7800, and the color RAM, well, we know where the color RAM is, right? But once I get out of here to start investigating, obviously the color RAM changes. So what I can do is just hack in a little, I don't know what it's called, but hack in something that copies the color RAM to a buffer where I can grab it. And then I can look at all three things, and we kind of know where it is. Like how many rows from the bottom? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can calculate exactly where this is. And I'm going to do that right now. So I'll be back. Let's see what this data really is. You anxious to find out? I sure am. Okay, I did a blind copy to 49152. Let's see what we got. Oh, this is going to take a while. Oh man, I missed the Super CPU. But anyways, we're going to have to wait till it gets to about here. And this will at least rule out, well, these two culprits, but we'll see. Do we get a bunch of @ symbols, black things, or both? Ooh, what is that mysterious thing? The plot thickens. Well, that series is character 219. And this is where the character data for character 219 is. What do you think it is? I'm going to imagine it's a bunch of zeros. Of course it is. Now that's doubly interesting piece of our puzzle because, okay, so we get a big-ass series of 219s. And coincidentally, the character for it is 0. This is an interesting piece of the puzzle because it says at some point something was screwing up around that portion of the code. And 219, 219, 219. Why, right? The logic was making it change all of those and at the same time deciding that it's a blank cell. Okay, guinea pig number 2. This is what it kind of supposed to look like. And this is what we got. And this, of course, is frame 3306. Of course, there's a little bit color up here that's screwed up thanks to me hitting break and typing in my save the coloram code. But the colors themselves don't seem to be buggered much. Even at the bottom, this, I don't know if that's part of the image or not. I guess I can always go back and look. But nothing seems to be too out of the ordinary. There is a black section. I know there's a black section of that shouldn't be there, and that appears to be this. But the entire black portion or bottom portion, it might be this stuff. All of this is black, and those cells might have been trashed in the character set. Well, it's time to dig deeper and find out. Well, this solid bar is generated as this character, which appears as 170. Now, 170 sounds familiar. It's a certain bit pattern. I think it's 10101010. Sure it is. So 128 plus 32 plus 8 plus 2. Yep. Another clue. Now let's go grab the coloram. Or no, what should we do? Let's look at the rest of the character set. I'm just gonna list out the character set. This is the character data. So if we see any big section of zeros, we know something is going really screwy. This is the coloram. Oh, never mind the high nibbles, right? But this one, this one, this one, DO 21, 22, 23, and they're all getting set to 0. But I do have a section of code that plops zeros down as all 24 of the last ones. But then these should have been saved, and they weren't. Or they were saved because they got corrupted. Interesting. And these values are the number of occurrences of each individual color in that saved coloram. And well, they add up, and all the zeros are the last 24 bytes that I've established. So everything's working as it should. And of course, none of these other lower ones should be set at all because I'm using multicolor mode, so I've automatically had to flag them all as 8 higher. So that's working as it should too. So why is that frame all buggered up? Man. Think. Oh yeah, probably because those colors at the very end aren't being set. How did they get screwed up in the first place? So why was that section black? Because 8s. A multicolor 8 sets the 1-1-bit pair to black. These D1, DO21, 22, 23 all set to black. It's forcing itself to use black. But that only means this was being smart. When the bitmap was converted, those probably were brought in as blank data. Whew, okay, next thing to try. Double load. Oh man, how do I explain this? Okay, did a full reboot. Super CPU's in play. Now it's time to get serious. Okay. So most of these early frames have been corrected. So if we see any glitching, we know the Super CPU is likely causing them at that very moment. Come on, we need some trash. Oh yeah, now it's not going to do it because everybody's watching. But these aren't the ones that I can play with because they're the same. I need a new set. I might as well look low. You only know it's new if it's different every time you go back to it, right? See, when you want one to be new, it doesn't do it. There, 253 is new. You see? It's different every time. So what I need to do... Oh man, it's a trash. Let's see. Let's go back in there. Let's get to 253 again. For some reason, it doesn't like that number right now. So now I'm going to go back in my source and add the double check for the compare DF100 to what DF100 is a moment later, and see if it can keep reading it until it agrees on what it is. Interesting. But then again, it only needs 8 lines in a row to make sense. I don't know. It's worth a shot. I'll be back. Okay, got some nastiness occurring in real time here because I am going back in time and again and forcing it to redraw the screen to 0400. Wow. This is good evidence. If I was technical minded, this might tell me something, but I'm not, and it doesn't. And I mean, I could probably turn this down to slow speed without it completely crashing. Oh, you just get that. Ooh, interesting. I probably should have just turned the sprites off because it's expecting them at 7,000 and it's not going to find them. This is why you leave it to the pros. Either this is something at hardware levels that Eevee didn't predict and probably can't fix. I don't think a firmware fix could do this, but what do I know, right? But this proves that this is beyond my ability. There's no way I can help with this. But now I have evidence of it. And you know, and I went through an automated thing to do all of these frames. No wonder it ran into so much corruption along the way. It trashed, I think, 1/3 of the frames. So I'd be better off just starting over at slow speed, disabled SuperCPU. Oh, well, that's even better. And letting it run for a week. Oh, Blue Wolf incoming. I know this part. There he is. Ha ha! You got a very dark gray snout. Well, I'm going to take a chance, and I started it up with optimized automated conversions at frame 3000 because that SuperCPU interference, you saw it rolling up the screen like static or something, but eventually it has its good moods where it's playing nice. This might be one of those moods, so I tried to get everything going, and we'll see how many frames I can get away with before it starts messing up. Of course, I'm not going to sit here and watch this, but it can't do any worse than what's already here because I haven't bothered correcting any of these frames beyond 3000 anyway. But yeah, I don't know what to try next. Well, I do know what I might want to try next. After you select the page you want to read from the BBT, possibly insert a little delay. Maybe the BackBit needs some time, like there, it's already messing up. Maybe you need some time to allow it to put those values into place. Let's assume that rolling interference is still occurring, but maybe after so many milliseconds or something, it stops. And as you can see, it's already happening. So what I can do, I'm going to just jam in a delay and we'll see. I mean, yeah, it's going to slow it down, but even a slowed down SuperCPU event is going to be better than this. So obviously I didn't even get 10 frames in before it starts just pooching up big time. So we'll see. Okay, let's try this again. I added a pause routine. Every time the BBT is poking a new... oh, it's already... Never mind. It's fucked.
Surprise. Ha! Look how big I am. Man. Oh, macro wolf. Oh, yes. Ooh, hoo, hoo. Oh, man. Okay, I have nothing really important to say, so I'm just going to screw around. Well, I'll see you next time, eh? On BackBit Impossible. I'm Luke Darksnow.